Honorable Governor for Morobe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, or Assistant Speaker. Me talk thank you long giving me talk right long making some talk and up long Minister of Civil Aviation long this country long report long end on Civil Aviation Safety Authority long country middle of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Assistant Speaker. Sorry about that. Mr. Assistant Speaker, moved that the Parliament take note of this paper, and I proceed to make some statement in relation to the Minister's statement.
Honorable Governor, you can go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a comment or contribute to the debate on the Minister for Civil Aviation who provides to this Parliament the report of Civil Aviation Safety Authority in this country, and as it extends to the world, because Papua New Guinea is not alone. Papua New Guinea is a member of the international community. So to the extent that it extends to the world in relation to this operation. Mr. Minister and Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the Minister providing this succinctly the situation in relation to the Civil Aviation Safety Authority. And secondly, comprehensive providing the report that this Parliament should know and this Parliament should disseminate in relation to that matter to the country, Papua New Guinea. And as I said, Mr. Speaker, we are not just alone. Papua New Guinea is not alone. Papua New Guinea is a member of the international community. So that the manner in which we operate, particularly in relation to the safety of aerodrome, safety of people working at the aerodrome, safety of the people who are piloting the plane to PNG and to the international community, their safety, and the people who are being taken by those planes to PNG and to international community, and that in relation to the creeping of criminal act, which we call a cybercrime, coming into this country and coming into the operation or the mechanical operation of the aircraft and the mechanical operation of all the apparatus, those are relevant in relation to the operation of machines that we have and how it affects them. And also, Minister, I thank you that you provide us this Parliament in relation to the government's commitment to provide money, to provide training for those specialist people who are working in the areas that I have submitted, to make sure that they are competent, they are experienced, they are competent, to make sure that operations they are required to perform are provided in the best possible way, so that safety is guaranteed to the users of the aircraft and anything that is relevant. And Mr. Speaker, also, I'm happy to hear that the Auditor General, the constitutional established office to audit books of government operation in this country and relevant to the Civil Aviation Safety Authority, Mr. Speaker, Assistant Speaker, they have done the audits to make sure that there is compliance by the CASA. And I'm happy to know, Mr. Speaker, that the CASA has complied with the utility of money that is provided, and also any other apparatus that is relevant for the operation of the aircraft and taking of people, all of those has been audited, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy to know from the minister that all there is no misuse of money in the operation. And Mr. Minister, Mr. Speaker, that is the news that this country needs to know. Mr. Speaker, there's no question. Our record is good. And I fully concur with the minister's presentation that we are in order. We are in order as to all of those machineries and apparatus, aerodrome, and the pilots and all those people who are trained to make sure that operation of all those things are in order. I'm happy to know, Mr. Speaker, that there's no much problem in this country. There's no much problem. Not plenty accident been come up, Mr. Speaker, in relation to the Air New Guinea. There's probably only one in Medang was supposed to land, but this is a small technical fault there. But nobody died, Mr. Speaker. The plane, of course, damaged, but the people in there were safe. All of them were safe. Mr. Speaker, furthermore, in one Micronesian country, one of our aircraft it sank into the waters of that region. But none of the passengers have died. All of them were safe, including the pilot and everybody, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Minister, you're reporting on the competency of the people who are working there and the compliance, Mr. Speaker, compliance of the rules by those people who are working there is excellent. They're trying to make sure that the aircraft is running well, wherever destination it's going, Mr. Speaker, and the passengers in there are well treated. Papua New Guinea passengers or international passengers, they're well treated and lands in the international ports without any difficulty. That is a very good news. Very good news. I'm able to know that none of our pilots have made any slightest mistake in the international ports, Mr. Speaker. None of our pilots are well trained. Pilots are able to manage the aircraft, and the pilots are able to know the topography of which country they're traveling and the wind that is coming and bumping against the aircraft and whatever that is doing. Pilots have managed it. Our pilots have managed it. We have a good record. There's no question about it. We have a good record. And I think the international community will respect us, Mr. Minister. There's no question about that. We hear about the Malaysian plane that's crashed, probably interfered by cyber people who are producing cyber crime. They crashed, and none of them survived. We are in Turkey. We are in Russia. Even well-advanced countries, but they have a record, Mr. Speaker, of their plane crashed. In Indonesia, plenty of planes have crashed, but in Papua New Guinea, only 2 incidents that I can remember. One in our country and one in the Micronesian Sea. And Mr. Speaker, with this record, and in the light, Mr. Speaker, Assistant Speaker, in the light of NASAP, which is going to become the international airport, and I think that Honourable James Morobe and the previous government of Honourable Peter O'Neill, which authorized the grant from the Japanese government to come in and help us to make sure that we upgrade that airport to an international level to take in the international flights in and out of this country and international country, the community in the world. And Mr. Speaker, with this confidence, Mr. Prime Minister, when we sanction the Nazab International Airport, we should fly direct to some countries that will help us to build the economy of our country and make our country powerful as their country. So, Mr. Speaker, we need direct flights to Philippines. We need direct flights from here to China. We will need direct flight to Japan and to Australia and rest of the South Pacific country. And Mr. Prime Minister, through the Speaker, I'm sure when the Lae International or Nazab International Airport is inaugurated, I'm sure you will endorse those flights. Surely I will be requesting, I'm still alive, I will be requesting those international flights into those areas. Because we got a record. There's no question about that, Mr. Speaker. We got a record. And we got a record, the nation knows, and we got a record, the international community knows. And therefore, on that basis, we should fly. We don't have to come all the way to Port Moresby. It's too far away, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect. We don't have to come all the way to Port Moresby. The Highlanders would not have to come all the way to Port Moresby. They're linked by road to Narchap. So just come in here by PMB or whatever vehicle, come in there, get checked in, and fly direct to Beijing or to Shanghai from but from Yaramanda up there. You come right in the morning, you catch the plane or Kandip, direct flight there, direct by land transport, Mr. Speaker, and then get to Najab, and direct from there to Najab to Tokyo in Japan. Wonderful flight, isn't it? And then when the Tokyo people ask you where you're coming from, you say, I'm coming from Kandip, straight from Kandip. So the CIPIC people, the people of the CIPIC, Mr. Speaker, and the people of the Papuan region too, people of the Bougainville and the Islands region, you don't have to comply all the way to Port Moresby. It's too far away. Just come into Lae by whatever transport and get into international flight from Lae. Because the minister has assured us through his report, Mr. Speaker, through his report, that our plane is safe, people walking on the ground is safe, people operating the aircraft safe, and all of those people are complying with the laws in relation to the Civil Aviation Civil Aviation Operation, and complying with the international law. International law, they're complying with them. So we have a respect and trust from our country and from our citizens, Mr. Speaker, and we have a trust from the international community that our plane is safe. Those fellows who are going to be there to make sure that they help us in the flight, they will make sure that we fly safely. And it's not just that I'm saying we're going to begin. We have a track record since independence, Mr. Speaker. We have a track record. When we announced in New Guinea, not much damage, not much crash that happened. No, I can't think of any except those only two. Only two. And why not? Come in and fly from Najab. Fly from Najab to the destination you wish to travel. But thank you, Mr. Minister. I'm well assured and the country is well assured. Our safety flying out and flying in to our land for our citizens and for our international community friends are safe. And why not? Let's make sure that we don't have any accidents like what we have accidents on the road, on the sea transport. We have to keep a high record, high standard on the safety, on the issue of safety. And this country will be respected by members of the international community. And they want to do business with us, and coming through the air transport will feel confident, feel safe, and they'll come in. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to speak. But Mr. Minister, you have my, I shouldn't say 100%, 1,000 support, and commend you, and commend you are presenting a report, but people actually doing their job, and I commend them.